Hey, this is Mark Henry back again to talk to you a little bit more about the occult and paranormal. Well, today I'm going to talk a little bit about sigil magic, and sigil magic more as an introduction. I want to give everyone kind of a place to start from, because sigil magic can get complex and there are various ways of approaching it. So let's start with the basics. So what is a sigil? So a sigil is a pictorial representation of a psychological intent, often used for magical purposes. Now, sigil magic itself was first noted, used, that we know of from an English painter and occultist sorcerer named Austin Osman Spare. Now, Spare was the first person that I know of that really kind of codified actually how to do sigil and sigil magic. From him, sigil magic became popular as a part of chaos magic, which was, something that started, became popular in the 1970s. So I'm probably going to be doing a short video on chaos magic for those of y'all who are not familiar. So what is the benefit of actually doing a symbol? What is the benefit of creating a picture from your words in order to create a magical working? Well, one is that you get some type of psychological distance from your working. That's often said in magic? That is, once you do the working, you let it go. Allow it to go undisturbed, do its own work. Now, that isn't always easy, because usually if we are going to the trouble of doing a magical working, then we've already invested time and thinking in the wanting and desiring of it. So to let it go is not always easy. I've known for myself in the past that once I have done a spell or some other type of work, that I wonder about it, I think about it afterwards. And that's actually not the best way of going about it, especially in the sense that of the greatest danger, and that is to worry about it, being anxious about it. Is it going to come? Is it not going to come? Focusing on those types of things are actually thought to go against the working. Going against the energy. You put something out there and then all of a sudden, now you're doubting it. It creates an incongruity. And we don't know exactly why that is. Why does that undermine your working? But it appears to do so. So when you're doing sigil magic and you're creating a symbol out of your desire, you're creating a psychological distance from it. In a way, you can kind of hide it from yourself in a kind of a small way, which is kind of neat. So the symbol is the language of your desire. You're actually, when you're doing a sigil and you're creating a sigil, you're actually embedding your thoughts, intentions, desires into the sigil. So the sigil is not just some random letters that you're writing on a piece of paper. It actually becomes powerful with the thing that you're wanting, which I think is pretty cool. So what could you do with sigils once that you created one? It's representing your desire. Well, a couple things you could do is you could take that sigil and write it on a candle if you were interested in candle magic. You could put it in your environment. If your particular way of doing sigil magic is the collecting and channeling of energy, of going in and going out, that would be an option for you. You could write it down, put it in a gree-gree or mojo bag, carry it around with you. So if you were doing a money mojo bag, you have the green bag and all the different implements and stones and herbs and all of that stuff, you can put your sigil within there to help power the mojo bag even more when you carry it around. So how does one go about doing sigil magic? Well, first, it's obvious, just like any other type of magical working, you're going to have to come up with a statement of intent. I like to write something like, it is my will to, whatever it is, to gain an extra $100 and money this month over and above what I normally get. Something like that. come with a statement of intent. I would, as in all of the videos that I've mentioned this, with your statement of intent, be careful how you actually word it. You do not want to put things like, I want X. Well, I want, in the way that it can read is that, well, I want it, but if I'm not used to getting what I want, then that's not a very powerful statement. It is my will is actually putting it out there, that this is what's going to happen, and it's not a matter of when. Excuse me, it's not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. That is a much stronger statement. That's more of a magician commanding it to be so, and that's what you want. You want congruity. You want it to be very linear, very straightforward, in direct type of statement of intent. You don't want to put, well, you know, I want to maybe have an extra $100 if it is the will of the universe and X, Y, and Z conditions. You know, that wouldn't be a good statement of intent. So your statement of intent, do that. That's important. The second thing when you're doing sigil magic is you can't just have a statement of intent. Otherwise, you'd be doing the regular formal magic, which is, you know, the incantations, you know, based on your statement of intent. What sigil magic says is that once you come up with that statement, you write it down, and you can eliminate some letters. Some people eliminate the consonants, cross those out. Some people eliminate vowels. Some people go and mark out any repeating letters, and what they have is a jumble of letters. So once you have your jumble of letters, what you do is you create a drawing out of it. You can, you know, if it is my, so the first letter is I, so you maybe put an I, and then you take each letter and try to make a drawing out of it and try to make it all kind of fit and be aesthetic as it needs to be. But we're not here for everything to look really pretty. It's just, if you can be a little artistic with it, that's good. But it's mostly to be practical. And if you can do it and make it so that it's not too complex, so that you can kind of remember it, even works even better. So once you have your little pictogram, it is important that you go ahead and find a way to charge it. You can charge it various ways. You can, with those letters, if you can take some of the remaining vowels, if you didn't mark out the vowels, and come up with a series of mantras out of it, you can start chanting it. You can, at that time, you can chant, you can blow energy, you can, if you want to have it in your hands while you're either having sex or pleasuring yourself, to embed it with sexual energy, you can do that. And then at the time when you're charging, at the very end, when you feel it's at its peak, at its climax, then what you do is you look at the pictogram. What that does is when you're in that state of trance of consciousness of the chanting, or the, if you're doing the sexual stuff, if you do that at the peak of the experience, and then you look at it all of a sudden, which you weren't doing before, it's almost like your mind opens up and it internalizes that sigil. At that point, when that's done, you have different options. You can set it aside until if you want to do multi-day working, you can do the same thing over, let's say, 3 or 4 days. Whatever intuitively you feel like you need to do, how many days you feel like you need to do it, you can do it that way, so that it builds up the energy. Now, what I've done when I've done work over multi-days, I've actually had the piece of paper with the sigil, and then over like about a day or two, I can actually hold my left hand over it and actually, it's kind of strange, can feel the energy coming from the sigil, which is counterintuitive if you think about it, because even if you subscribe to the idea of psychometry and about energy embedding and stuff, paper is not supposed to be a good conductor of it. So this symbol is becoming charged in some way, because you can actually feel it. I can feel pressure on my palms of my hands. So, when I first started doing it, it's like, wow, this is something that really is going on here. So what do you do afterwards? If you're building it up over a period of days or one day, it doesn't matter. Then what you can do is if you feel like you have enough energy, you can release it. How do you release it? The traditional way would be to find something fire safe and burn it. Burn it, let all the energy be released at once. It'll go out there and create the thing that you desired. Now, if you didn't go to the route of building it up over a period of days, and you want to just have that sigil and place it in your environment, on your wall, you can kind of make a deal that whenever you look at it, you may give it a little bit of attention each day and have that energy go into the sigil, and then after a while it can be released on your command. So it can build up in a couple different ways. I know people who create sigils and put it on social media. Why? Because the attention from other people seeing it, even if they don't quite know what it means, it's kind of interesting play on words. Even if you don't know what it means, their attention charges it in a very basic sense. And then it kind of grows. And at some point you can kind of make the decision to release that. So something to think about. And that's basically it as far as the video is concerned. So you can kind of build up the sigil, you can release it, or you can have it in the sense of charging it a little bit, and putting it in your environment, putting it on your Facebook page, and kind of when you're dealing with your sigil, make kind of the decision that it's going to collect energy based on views or something like that. So there's much more to this, but I just want to give you kind of a basic understanding of how it works. I, in the near future, am going to update my Patreon. I have a Patreon page, and what I'm going to be doing is taking some of the videos that I've already done on this channel and go into very specific detail about how to go about it, because I think that people need it. I'm getting some feedback that your information is good, but I'm interested in learning, almost like spoon feeding. I want you to spoon feed me how exactly to do this. So I'm going to do that in the near future, and I will let you know. So if you're interested in subscribing to my Patreon, you're more than welcome. The video that I'm going to be doing that is going to be into extreme detail, even more detail than these videos, you would have to be a paid subscriber to do that. These videos are going to take more time and take more effort and all these other types of things. So I encourage you that if you're interested in that, you can sign up, but you can also wait until I put some of these videos up if you like, and I'll let you know when that happens. So, it's Mark Henry signing off. Please subscribe and like, and I will see you later.